What's up, guys? Welcome to Bulls 101. This is Chris Amundsen back again with my guy, Mr. Larry B. Golden. No, G. Golden. The G stands for gets. I was thinking B for bucket. I'm already screwed.
Hey,
Uh,
I'm cool with either one.
how you doing, man? How you been
I'm
this week?
man. I'm good, man. Bulls, a lot of bulls, a lot of bulls. But just I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm really concerned. Not I shouldn't say concerned, but I'm really happy with where the Bears are doing. So I'm like kind of like on a high right now because it's different for a Bears fan right now. Like
Yeah.
it's like some of these hires have been too good that it's like you get skeptical, so I'm trying not to be that way. I'm trying to be happy that we actually are making some good hires and things like that. But other than that, man, I'm good. Family's good, kids are good. What about you, man?
I'm doing good. So they hired Ryan Poles and then
Mm-hmm.
Matt something Flus,
Eber
Eberflus. And then they just hired the QB coach from someone today, right?
from the Packers, yeah.
From the Packers. So Aldo, yeah, that was a really nice open. Yeah, we thought we'd try it out today. It just kind of has this. It kind of has this little vibe to it. It's a little different, and enjoy it. So Aldo, as always, doing our production, the intros, outros, and Barroom Network. Obviously, if you guys do not follow the Barroom Network, make sure to follow all their stuff. Our guys Salim and Edward from Bulls Gold. If you like Bulls content, they've got so much Bears content. If you follow the Bulls like Larro does. They got Blackhawks. I mean, they've got every Chicago sport you want. They've got shows on it. So make sure you guys follow that. The Bulls have had an interesting week as far as their record's concerned. They lost Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball, who've now both had surgery. Alex Caruso on his wrist and Lonzo Ball on his knee, and so they have started the 2 week or there's the 6 to 8 week timelines. We also got a new injury with Derek Jones Jr., who broke his finger during a 5-on-0 practice as he was gearing up to return to the lineup. But he may come back early. He's also on 6 to 8 week timeline, but he may come back early if he can play with with like a, what do you call it? Like a brace on his hand, or what do you call those things?
I think that's what it's called, right? Or a splint or something like that.
A splint. That's the word I
Okay.
was looking for. So he's going to try and wear a splint. It's because it's his off hand. It's not his shooting hand. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, Alan Golden. Were you ever called Goldie? That's a question for you.
No, it was when I was young, it was Lair Bear. And then as I got older and played sports, it was just Golden. They call you Golden.
The golden boy,
Yeah.
the golden child. It's great. So it's been a rough stretch for the Bulls. They are currently second in the East. They are tied in the loss column with the Heat, who just lost in triple overtime tonight to the Raptors. The Bulls beat the Raptors this week, but they just lost to the Spurs yesterday. They barely beat the Thunder on Monday, and they got blown out by the Magic last Sunday. So it's been a really weird week. 4 teams they really should have put away, and instead they go 2-2.
Yeah.
And bad defense has been the reason why. And what's up, Clayton? Nice to see you. Happy Saturday to you. Used to be called Sea Puppy as a kid. Man, I got called all sorts of stuff, but I got called Christopher Robin all the time.
Really?
Just from Winnie the Pooh. I don't know why. But I got my nickname in college was Sunshine, actually, from Remember the Titans. You remember that movie? Because I was from California.
Sunshine.
So that was my nickname in college, and obviously no one's called me that in a long time. But yeah. Anyways, let's get on to the good stuff here. CPB film. What's going on? CBP film. Sorry, I'm worried a little bit. Yeah, it's been a little worrisome, as we kind of expected. Lonzo and Caruso are so extremely important to what the Bulls do defensively as far as a scheme standpoint. There's on-ball creators on offense. I really think that Lonzo and Caruso are both creators on defense. They create events on defense with their with their screen navigation, with their getting into passing lanes and everything. They're just so good at um, harassing the other team and getting them out of their comfort zones. And so, as we've seen since their absence, opponents are having a lot easier time getting into the paint. Ball handlers are getting into the paint, being able to make decisions quicker. Um, Guys that are rolling to the rim are meeting less resistance. We're seeing some bad rotations, help rotations. Sometimes it's leaving 3-point shooters open. And we saw a whole lot of it against the Spurs. And so what we're going to do today is that both Larro and I went through the Spurs game again and broke down a bunch of clips, defensive clips, some good and some bad, of what they've been doing, because I think a lot of people have some major concerns about what the Bulls defense is going to look like over the next couple months. Do you have those concerns, Larro? Not before or after reviewing this film, do you have major concerns about where the Bulls are defensively?
Yeah, I think it's only fair to have. I think it's fair to have some concerns because we know what Lonzo and Caruso mean to this team in terms of the defensive end. I mean, they're the engines to the defense. So I mean, it's if you have concerns, it's fair. And I think you should, honestly, after going through film and watching the game again just a few minutes before we got on, and I did a little bit before. There are certain things that can be corrected, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But there are some things that can be corrected. We'll get into that. But yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to have some concerns.
Yeah, and Billy Donovan has made similar comments as you, which is, yeah, you can't replace Lonzo, you can't replace Alex Caruso, but some of the things that we're doing as a team, we can improve on our execution of our scheme a lot better, right? Just because Alex and Lonzo aren't there doesn't mean that we can't help the helper, we can't rotate on time, we can't be in the right position, and there's a little bit of everything. And what's funny is that when I don't know about you, but when I was reviewing the film, one of the only persons I struggled to find fault with on the defensive end was Vucevic.
Don't get me started.
I'm telling you, I know he gets the lion's share of the blame for this defense, but he was the one person I was difficult to find Vucevic being out of position or doing something dumb on defense, at least in the Spurs game. Almost everyone else was getting cooked at certain points and just missing easy things. So we'll get into it. It'll be really, really fun. But Alan Golden says Bulls are snake bitten. It sure feels that way. I mean, you get three guys missing 6 to 8 weeks, all within 1 week of time, after all three of those guys had been out before. They'd been out before. DJJ hadn't even come back yet. Caruso had just he'd played 2 games, not even 2 full games, after he'd missed an entire month. Lonzo was out with health and safety protocols for like 2 weeks or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And our whole team has had COVID and been out with protocols. It's been crazy. And honestly, I think the Bulls are way better than their record shows, way better than their point differential shows right now. For example, right now we've got a 1.6 differential, which is actually pretty bad. If you look at the whole Eastern Conference, if we went by point differential, for example, the Bulls would be 7th in the East, be in front of only Toronto, Charlotte, and Atlanta. But to be honest, it's Bulls are 2nd right now, and they're tied in the loss column with the Heat. So I think we should be pretty grateful for where we are based on all the injuries we've had so far. But the problem is those 3 guys and Patrick Williams are all going to be out for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Patrick Williams has the best chance maybe to come back, the earliest of those 4, unless Derek Jones can play through that finger. So we'll see what happens. But I wanted to get your overall thoughts real quick, just on the Bulls this week, and then the Spurs game in general. What do you thought of those games this week?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind outside of the defense is Zach. He's got to get back into game shape. I was watching the Spurs game and obviously watching oh my God, why am I blanking on the team that we just Raptors?
Mhm.
And he just, I mean, I believe in the first quarter of the Spurs game, he got fouled, and he's at the free throw line huffing and puffing like he's been playing, like this fourth quarter, and he's been playing a lot of minutes. So that lets me know that he's not all the way back game shape yet, and that could be some reasons why he's taking some tough shots. And when you're fatigued, your mental is not where it needs to be, and I think he just needs to continue to fight and get back in the game shape. That's one. I think that I think for Vooch, I think we're starting to see that he's starting to get his feel back. I think right now he's most confident right now on the block, and either attacking, and trying to get a basket, or finding the right pass. And I think I think the team can get away from that a little bit too much. I think, because I feel like a lot of people think, when he gets the ball in the post, um, you know, like, oh man, he has to, he's not efficient from there. He's not a good post up player. Why are we posting him up? And the deal is, man, it's like, it's not about him just getting the ball down there and getting buckets. Like, it's about throwing a different look at a defense and seeing how they rotate, seeing where the help is coming from, and then attacking from there. We're starting to see that Io is starting to have a lot more confidence in his pull-up jump shot.
Yeah.
You get the ball to Vooch, maybe they start to help off of Io because they feel like he's the worst three-point shooter on the floor, so they're bringing help from him. You get a pass out from Vooch to Io, he can attack a closeout, get to a pull-up jump shot, or attack the basket and make a play for another teammate. Like, that stuff that's good stuff. That is what helps your offense go. And I think sometimes, um, I, and obviously it could be because the guys are out, but I just feel like the offense could be a little bit more fluid. I think there are too many times where it's just like DeMar DeRozan has the ball and he's going one-on-one, and I think there just has to be a little bit more movement. And offensively, that's where I'm at. But defensively, we'll get into it, but it's just got to be better execution, man. Like,
Yeah.
guys are doing. I'm not gonna give away too much. But like, defense for me is just guys gotta lock in and execute. You just have to.
Yep, I agree with you. Vooch is so important to the offense, and I agree. Now, we're watching that Spurs game again. DeMar he's just incredible. Some of the shots he was making, turnaround jumpers, bank shots. He's just that pull up three he had, kind of like running three that he had towards the end of the game. But you mentioned there's a little too much ISO, a little too much step back threes by Zach. When he's not hitting those,
Yeah.
it just looks bad when it's 20 seconds, left on the shot clock, and you're taking that kind of shot. Like, I feel like there's low hanging fruit on the offensive end,
Yeah.
for them to get better at. So I don't know. It's just tough to tell. It's tough to tell. What they can do to get better with the guys going in and out of the rotation. I assume, though, for the next few weeks, the rotation is going to be without Lonzo and Alex Caruso.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a little bit more like a little bit more known. Not guys coming in and out all the time, but it seems like the rotation they've got right now with the starters, and then off the bench you got Kobe, you got Tyler Cook and Troy Brown Jr. and Matt Thomas. I think that's basically been the 9 guys that he's used, that Billy's been using recently. Unless they pick up someone at the deadline, which I think they should. And actually, CBP Film mentions here 2 problems. Obviously, staying healthy is one, and needing P. Will back. I would love to have Pat Will back. He would really help this team. And just a power forward center who can rebound and be the goon we need for people like Grayson Allen. I actually think that's interesting because you kind of need a little bit of nasty on your team. You got to have someone like that kind of, I don't know, the enforcer in a way. I think Tyler Cook has done a pretty good job in that role so far. I like his kind of just his edge, his energy on the floor has been really kind of nice, and especially when he dunks that ball, he's always so angry. Like, Taj is always the angriest dunker of all time. But yeah, you need a guy like that, and it's almost like everyone's a little bit too nice.
Yeah.
in a way. But yeah, I think they could shake it up, and I think they will shake it up at the deadline, even if it's not a big move. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna make some changes.
I think
Yeah,
I think I think you're right. Now that I think about it, you brought shout out CBP film. I I think Stacy in shout Stacy, I love entertainment, on the broadcast and things like that. I mean, when he was out, you could tell the difference in the broadcast. It wasn't as fun and as loose and things like that. But I kind of agreed with Stacy where he said that you don't want to be the try me team. And I think when you're an up and coming team, like the Bulls, where you came from basically the basement almost to now being the top seed in the East, teams are going to try you. They're going to say, "Oh, you think you're the new kid on the block? All right, well, we're going to show you what's up." And I think teams are, a couple teams have tried it.
yeah,
One being a little too much, and Grayson Allen taking out our engine on the defensive end. But I think you do. I'm not a big guy, and you need a guy that could be a goon and just go out there and lay somebody out. I'm not a big guy at that, but I think you need maybe a guy that possibly could do that to let teams know that hey, hey, we do this. He's going to come in and lay one of our guys out. So we kind of gotta
yeah.
be smart about it. So I
Like
that's a good point.
the Miami Heat, for example, they got a bunch of guys who are like, try and find out. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you want to find out? Let me know.
yeah.
It seems like they got a whole team full of those guys. But yeah, Nippy says love to see if they could get Dorian Finney-Smith. He's good. DFS
Yeah.
having a great season.
Yeah.
I think he's expiring. I'm wondering what the Mavs are going to do. I'm keeping my eye. I'm keeping my eye on Kleba. I'm keeping my eye on Max Kleba.
Dude,
I would love to
what
have
game
him.
was that? I feel like I can't remember which Dallas game it was we played. But it was Kleba couldn't miss. Like when he was open and he at the three, it was just going down. And like, Kleba, man, if Maxi could get to this squad somehow, like he'd be, oh my goodness, such a big time piece.
There's another name we've been talking about. It's a guy that you and I were talking about in the offseason, I think, and a guy I thought would be kind of a nice buy low candidate at the time was Kyle Kuzma, who's having a really nice season for the Wizards. But he's 6'9", 6'10", forward. He can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot. He's a good defender. I think he's on a reasonable contract, $13 million for the next 3 years. I mean, I know the Wizards say everyone's on the table except for Beal, which is funny because Beal should be the guy they're really selling on.
Yeah,
if they were smart, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do, I guess. But if Kuz were available, I think he'd be another guy that we could look at as someone we could bring in. I want Patrick Williams back after having Chip on last week.
I know, right?
That was so much fun. If you guys have not, by the way, go check out the film session we had with Chip Jones last week. Give him a follow. It's definitely better audio. I mean, audio. But go watch it on YouTube or Twitch or whatever video program you can get it on. He's real smart, and he may be really excited for Patrick Williams' return because Pat's been showing some really fun stuff. All right. Without further ado, I think we should get into this film. So I want to talk about the good. Let's talk about the good that they did on defense. So I got a few clips of some of the good things that they did on defense here last night. So right at the beginning of the game here, in the first quarter, we've got DeJounte Murray coming up, high pick and roll. Now listen, this pick and roll, they ran this all night long, and it was super, super effective for him. Number one.
All night. I couldn't help myself. All right.
Oh, man. So DeJounte Murray, first of all, one of my favorite players in the league, maybe like top 3 players I love watching. He's long. He's tall. He's very, very good in pick and roll. And his mid-range game is really taking a leap this year. The man has had 10 triple-doubles. He's had 7 of them, I think, this year. He almost had an 8th against us last night. He was one rebound off of another triple-double. I think he had 29 12 or 13 and 9, I think is what his final stat line. And he was just cooking. So he's a guy who I think is going to succeed pretty well, even if we had Caruso and Lonzo on the team. He's a guy, if he gets into the mid range, those are kind of the shots the Bulls like to give up.
Yeah.
With drop coverage. Even though they plant Vooch a little bit higher up in the drop coverage, it kind of slows down the ball handler. A guy like DeJounte Murray can get in and he can make those long twos. He can make good passes because of his height and length. He can make good passes out of that spot. He's a pretty tough cover, especially for Ayo. So just to put it there out front. So Ayo's going to get screened all night long, and both Jakob Poeltl and Drew Eubanks are very good screeners, and he gets caught on a lot of them, and it's not just him. But Ayo does a pretty good job at navigating the screens and getting back when he doesn't. So here he navigates the screen really well. He gets over it. He blows up the advantage. Now they got to kick it back out. They're going to try again over here on the left side of the floor. Another pick and roll. Ayo gets caught up on it. But they're all in good position. They're getting good position enough for Javonte Green to kind of play a little free safety. Vooch is in position. He gets that. Javonte spots that pass coming. And one of the few turnovers that DeJounte had. So anyways, that was that first little clip. I thought that was good defense by Ayo and the help defense too. Everyone was in position watching. Here comes Javonte again. Or I'm sorry, DeJounte Murray. Gets a little screen and roll. So here's that segment. So screen and roll. He gets a roller. He hits, I think that's Poeltl. Is it Poeltl or Eubanks? Okay, so Poeltl. He hits Poeltl. The pass is kind of wonky because Vooch is right there. Because Ayo was so close to him, because Javonte was right on his heels, Vooch could kind of step back to his man. And so he kind of gets his little hand on this, and it ends up becoming like it goes on the floor. It blows up the play. They got to start again. And I want you to watch Ayo. Go back on that clip and watch Ayo. Because his activity is really good here. He sees what's coming. So if you run that again from the top and just watch Ayo on this play, watch this cover. So he's on the strong side. So he's kind of digs in real quick, and then he sees it coming back, and he knows he's going to get back cut. He knows that's DeJounte's next option. And he goes there, he taps that ball and gets it. And even if he hadn't, I thought he was just in good position, good awareness, good help defense.
Yeah.
Amen. All right. So here's this next one. Another screen and roll. This was Troy Brown Jr. Does a good job cutting off the drive. Now, he makes a shot, but I thought it was just good defense. And if they make that shot, that's good. I thought Vooch's positioning was maybe a little bit too deep here. He didn't give, I think, enough resistance in letting. I think this is Eubanks now.
Yep.
I think he should have put a little bit more body on Eubanks because he got real deep position. He was turned around for that little hook. But I thought Troy Brown did a good job here, staying in front of the ball, cutting off that advantage, and but I thought it was good defense overall.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I think I think some of Vooch's, a lot of like Vooch, he just tries to stay out of foul trouble. So anything that might seem like it might end up being a foul, he just tries to stay away from it. But I agree. I think you're right. Right here, I would probably be telling him, hey, get here, engage right here.
Give him that forearm a little bit more, you know.
Yeah. I just like when I watch him on defense sometimes, like you could just tell, like he's like, dude, no, that's gonna be a foul. Let me chill out. Like so, in a way it's smart, but in another way, you would like to see him use that wingspan a little bit better. He's got a nice wingspan. You'd like to see him use it more.
So here's this next play. You got Eubanks at the top of the key here on the left side, looking for a pass. He gets it to I think is that Keldon Johnson?
Yep.
Number 3. Yeah, Keldon Johnson. Troy gets around that screen pretty well, stays with him, gives Vooch time to recovers to his man. Then Kobe, nice one-on-one defense here.
Beautiful.
Ayo's back out. Good defense, force him into a long 3, pull-up 3.
Beautiful.
That's good defense.
That's great clip, Chris. That's beautiful. Like when you're in film session and you want to pull up good clips, like what we have done really well, like that's a clip you bring up. Like Io fights
Everyone's head's
over.
on a swivel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Io takes him out of their first action. Eubanks is like, okay, what are we gonna do? TBJ fights over. Vooch where he needs to be. Everybody else head on a swivel. Kobe does a good job. Yeah, this is just that's just a beautiful possession. Force a long jumper. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. And they had a couple like that where they forced Murray into a long jumper like that. Yeah, Salim, when Vooch does use the length, he does a great job of deterring. Yeah, he's not really going to block your shot a lot, but he does do a good job of deterring the shot, I would say. I agree with you, Salim. Also, shout out Salim. What's up, brother? What's going on? Nice to see you. All right. They had more good defensive clips than that, but I just wanted to kind of show when they were doing it the right way because they ran a lot of high pick and roll. And those were some of the ways that they handled it in a good way. And you had good help defense. Unfortunately, there was a lot of poor dribble penetration and a lot of poor help defense tonight. And so I have other clips. I have a lot more clips on the bad.
But before we get to the bad,
yeah,
there was a clip of DeMar that I wanted to show. Let me see here really quick. Let me get to it. Let me pull this up. Pause it. Full screen. Okay, we full screen. We good to go?
Yep.
All right. So this was one possession that stuck out to me because I kind of, after watching the game, I kind of felt like there's going to be some clips of DeMar where you're like, oh God. So I just wanted to give
there's a couple.
So this one to me, I was like, if this is the effort he could give I mean, he does so much on the offensive end. You can't expect him to be elite or give maximum effort all the time because he just on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, we need him so much. So, but for this one, the ball's coming down on the left side to Doug McDermott. They kind of run like in. Let me back up a bit here. So McDermott's bringing the ball up here. He picks up the dribble on the left side, finds Pirtle on like the left block. Doug's gonna cut across, like he's getting a dribble handoff. Io does a really good job of just staying connected and getting through there. But what I wanted to focus on was DeMar here. Just take a look at DeMar's activity, right? So Pirtle gets it. DeMar's got his head on a swivel. This is what I want to pay attention to, right? So this is where the activity comes. Coming off, Vooch is you could tell by his top foot here, he would have to drop his hips, which means, he's a little bit out of position. But DeMar does a really good job. He gets there, deters, but also Io is just where he needs to be. He's got this is what I love, right? Io always has his arms out and getting his arms and passing lanes and in people's faces. So maybe a read they would see on a less defender, they would be, they won't be able to get it or see it as quickly with Io on them because he's always being active on the ball with his, not just with his body and chest being in front of the ball, but also using his arms. But DeMar does a good job of taking that away. And then he gets back out here, does a really good job using his chest stand in front, stops the penetration. And there we go. Long jumper. And I was like, that's all you need from DeMar. If DeMar could just do that, that's all you need. And I just wanted to give him a little love for that. I was like, oh man, DeMar, good stuff, brother. Good stuff.
Yeah, because to be honest, there's a lot of clips tonight where if they had just rotated at the right time, they would have solved so many problems. I mean, the Spurs made it 16 threes, and I watched every one of them. And I would say sometimes the Spurs, you just got to tip your cap to them because they made a tough shot. Like Doug McDermott came around a couple screens where Troy Brown Jr. was right in his jersey behind him. Yeah. And, like maybe could have even been called for a foul on the shot. And McDermott just nails it anyway. So sometimes that happens, right? You just tip your cap. So, and we had a lot of open shots that we did knock down tonight, and that may have been the difference in the game. They got 24 more points off of 3-pointers than we did. That's a big difference. And it was an 8-point game at the end of the day. And it was, down to a single possession, basically in the last minute. So Sometimes that's the difference, but these are things you got to clean up. All right, so we're gonna go through. Let's go through that first quarter here. I got some from every quarter, but I thought the first quarter and the fourth quarter were where I found the most issues. So if you want to full screen that real quick. All right, and I got a lot of time. So here's Doug. They're running that same action that you just showed, right? Where Doug McDermott brings it up on that left side, passes it off to Pirtle, and then kicks it out to DeJounte Murray. Yep. And DeJounte Murray gets it going downhill. He's right in the lane, right in his sweet spot where he wants to be. And he gets a nice, easy roll. So I want to ask you about this one.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is at fault for this one?
Well,
because Javonte gets caught on that screen.
I think this is another good clip, because I think in the naked eye, if you don't know exactly what to look for, you're instantly going to look at Vooch. I think what you need to pay attention to is the on-ball action with the screen, and also here on the backside with Ayo, because the number one job for Vooch is to protect the basket, and if there's a threat to the basket, he has to step up and get his body in front of the ball, and trust his teammates to have the rotations and be where they should be. So in this play here, like you said, Javonte gets caught on the screen. So now Vooch has to engage. He has to engage the ball handler.
Yeah.
Right now, Ayo's a little too connected to Doug, and I get it. He's a lights out 3-point shooter. But what you want to do is you kind of want to get your body here early. Get here early, so when the ball is passed, if it does get past to Doug, you can get over there on the flight of the pass. But what he's not doing well is he's still right. You would like to see him right now have his body in front of at least give the illusion to DeJounte that he's there, and maybe force him to throw that pass. Or if you don't force him to throw that pass, maybe he doesn't trust it because Ayo has a really long wingspan for his size. Maybe he gets into something else, right? But since he doesn't come over, and guys who are watching, the clip right now, look at Vooch right now. He's got his body in front of the ball. He's doing what he needs to do, and that's what happens. Now, what some people will do, what some coaches will tell you, you pill switch it. So right now, if it were me, I probably would want Ayo already, the ball's on the strong side, so I would want him to come over and help a bit on this action. But also what you could do is if Vooch is going to step out here, you could just tell, hey, Javonte, pill switch this. Vooch is here. You just you get your hand in this bounce pass and try to get that steal there and switch over to Pirtle. But no, instead of peel switching, he comes over and we got a double on the ball, and now Ayo's out of position, so it's an open lane to the basket. So to the naked eye, you'll say, Vooch, what the hell are you doing? You are a big man. You got to protect the basket. When all reality, he is just his teammates don't have his back.
So here's my thought on this. Watch DeMar.
Mm-hmm.
Because right here, maybe you're the coach, so maybe this is not what should have happened, but I feel like DeMar is in position here because Ayo didn't make that initial stunt from the strong side. That when DeJounte gets downhill, look at the position. I feel like DeMar could have stepped over and maybe been that weak side help. But I wanted to ask you about that because that was kind of my initial thought was, hey, maybe Ayo can stun a little bit, just give the illusion that he's going to intercept that or be in position. Mm-hmm. But because he's on the strong side and because Doug McDermott is such a lights out shooter, would you have preferred for DeMar to slide over and then for Javonte and Zach to kind of X out on their side? But I don't know. Maybe it happened a little too quick, but it just looked like DeMar was. I mean, he's looking at the action. Mm-hmm. He's not really guarding his man. Mm-hmm. I feel like he could have taken 2 steps over and drawn a charge or met him at the rim a little bit. But he kind of just stands there and watches. I don't know.
I think I see what you're
This is
saying.
why I want to ask you, because I thought this one was tough.
I see what you're saying, but in this situation here, DeJounte is coming off the screen over to the right side of the floor, so this becomes the strong side.
Okay.
So DeMar, if he were to step up on the ball right now or stunt, I'm pretty sure Keldon cuts to the basket and it's a oop. No,
Oh,
or the
okay.
pass.
Well, let me clarify. I thought he should have stepped over to intercept Pirtle when Pirtle starts diving to the rim, right here.
That's a tough rotation. Because Pirtle 7-footer with that type of run up to the lane, that's tough. It's probably gonna be a foul. I think it's tough because the timing of it, right? So if he does go over there, he can kick it right away to Keldon, and now
Maybe gets
DeMar's in a
dunked.
position. I think if they communicated that, they game planned that, because they've ran this a lot, so I'm pretty sure they probably saw it in film. But let's say DeMar does that. Zach has to know, okay, in this situation, I got to kind of play two.
Yeah.
But what the Spurs are doing really well is with what's his name? White. I can't think of his first name.
Derek White.
Derek White. He's doing a good job of lifting. So Zach has to go with him, and that leaves, so if he comes over, it's wide open here. So it's tough. They're just doing a really good job. I think in order to stop this play, or at least deter it and move for them to go into something else, I think Io has to show, and either Javonte has to not get hit by the screen. And if you do get hit by the screen, you have to peel switch it. So just have Vooch stay here, and then Javonte, you just get with the roller. Especially with his athleticism, he can get in there and muck some things up. So I probably would have peel switched here, and just had Io show a little bit more since he's on the weak side.
All right. Yeah, I'm glad I asked you, because I was unsure. Like I saw a couple of those options, right? Javonte just staying with the roller, Io coming down, or DeMar. But I wanted, that's why
I will say, though,
why you're the coach here.
I will. Oh, well, it's 11 minutes. They probably didn't run this action yet, because I was going to say, like, Javonte should have known this was going to happen, but this is early in the game, so
it's the second possession.
Yeah,
it's first possession of the game.
Yeah,
unfortunately. But that was when I was like, oh, this is going to be a bad game. Defensively.
Like right there, like right here, like as a coach, just switch this action. This action is going to happen here.
Yeah, so here's the next play. Pirtle gets to the top of the key. Keldon Johnson comes off a screen. Yeah. So this is.
So he sets a rip screen for DeJounte. And I would rather, because if Pirtle is looking, I'd fire that ball right now. Right now, I'd fire it.
Yeah.
But
to
like,
DeJounte?
Yeah, but I would just switch it. Just switch it. Hey, DeMar, you take him, and I'll stay up top on the right now. Hey, communicate right now. Boom.
Yep. Boom.
Javonte, you stay with the guy that's coming up top, and I'll take the guy cutting to the basket. But that's where Alex Caruso comes in and Lonzo comes in.
Now, so here's another one. Who's responsible for this one? Because this is strong side. Zach, if you look where Zach is, he's strong side here. So should he have done what Io should have done the last play? Come in early on that drive.
So
leave his man, because Derek White in the corner.
This is where like, the Spurs are doing a really good job. They know what they're doing, right? So that's another tough situation for Zach, because this is literally there's no teammate, there's no, like on the other possession, DeMar was there with him, but now he's by himself. So if he does come over, there's nobody to help him. That's Derek White can knock down that three. So when you're in this situation, you want Zach to stay home, because if he comes over, that's immediately going to be a pass over to the corner. This right now is literally they know what they're doing. DeMar's guarding the ball. Everybody get out of the way. We'll keep a shooter on the strong side so Zach can't help, and it's just a two-man game. If you set a good screen on DeMar DeRozan, this is what he
does.
Right? He sets a good screen. Like this is where, like right now, what are we doing? Like we should already trying to set our feet to get over the screen. But like I said, the Spurs knew what they were doing. DeMar was guarding Keldon. They wanted to see what this would look like. And for the most part, it looked good. I mean, because DeMar, that's tough, man. Like, you can't die on the screen. You're leaving your big man out to dry. You're just leaving your big man out to dry because Zach can't come over and help him, especially in this situation. And so, you get a
What
guy, a
about
little small
Javante?
guy.
So watch Javante in that possession.
Mm-hmm.
He just watches.
Again, yeah, that's a good point. Now that rotation could happen because Io, you can trust Io to play two back here. But even still, like, now we've seen it full speed. It's tough. You got to communicate. Like right now, this is where Alex Caruso comes in huge, because right now he'd be communicating what we should be doing.
Yeah,
what the Bulls should be doing. When you don't have that communicator out there, that this is what happens. The guys don't know exactly what they should do, and then when they finally figure out what they should do, it's too late.
Yeah. Well, and this is the weakness of the Bulls defense, and it's probably why the Spurs are game planning for this, right? They were dragging because the Bulls rely so much on that weak side help rotation.
Mm-hmm.
The Spurs were dragging that weak side help guy out of position the whole game because they know that that the rim protection relies on Javante Green or Io or Zach or whoever making that weak side rotation. Because Vooch isn't fast enough going backwards, like in a situation like this.
Yeah.
Where a guy like Keldon Johnson comes off that screen going downhill with a little bit of speed, Vooch isn't going to catch him, and he's going to get that layup. And so they were dragging them out. They were dragging the help out of there all night long.
Now, I would say, this is something I probably would have talked about. If I was getting paid big bucks, I probably would be coming into this game. I would say, if Keldon Johnson is the pick and roll ball handler, let's play deep drop. Let's force him to show us he can have some in between game, right? Like right now, there's no reason to play up that high because Keldon Johnson's not going to help. Like, he's not going to hurt you, with a pull up jumper. He's not going to hurt you with a floater. Like, that's just not his game. So this should be more of a deep drop situation right here. But this is where they've played all season, so they can't expect anything different.
That's tough because Keldon Johnson, now he's a really, really good spot up shooter. I mean, he's one of the best percentage-wise 3-point shooters in the NBA this year, and he's a good finisher. But as you said, he doesn't have the in-between game, so I think deep drop would have been better on possessions where he's the ball handler. And they did a bunch of possessions with him as the ball handler. Salim makes a good point. I mean, letting DeJounte Murray get downhill easily, which – it's just not fair to a guy like Vooch. It's not. And this is why Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball are so important, because they can prevent DeJounte from getting downhill easily. Now, he still will get downhill, but the advantage he's going to gain is a lot smaller, or maybe, it's later in the shot clock. And, those guys just make a huge difference. I mean, think about missing Zach and DeMar on the offensive end. And how much that would hurt our offense. Lonzo and Alex are just as good on the defensive end to our team. They're so important to our team defensively. And so we're playing with our two best players out on the defensive end every night. So it's going to be tough to contain dribble penetration. It just is. And as great as Io and Javante and even Troy Brown Jr. have been at screen navigation this year, and they've done a really admirable job. I think they've done a really good job. But they're just not at Alex and Lonzo's level. They're just not there. And so, you have situations like this. And Pirtle's a really good screen setter. I mean, Pirtle lays dudes out on screens. And Eubanks was also really good. Like, our guys got killed on these screens. So, as you mentioned, DeMar here was not in the right position, did not have his feet set as if he were going to get screened. And so he just gets eaten alive by the screen, and Keldon Johnson goes right to the rim.
Yeah. If people like don't truly, like, if they don't understand like how you get around a screen, like if you go back and you watch Alex Caruso and you watch even Lonzo's, like you said, Chris, Lonzo's gotten a lot better with screen navigation. But like right now, you should be engaging his body. Right now, you should be trying to get into his body, because if you can engage to his body, it makes it tougher for Pirtle to screen you. But if you're going to give him this much space, like that's not going to help you at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the little stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta you just gotta get better at those little things. But you know, DeMar's an older guy now, so he's I mean he's at where he's probably gonna be. So
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the problem with Vooch. It's not that Vooch is doing anything wrong, because
mhm,
he's not. He's in position. He's doing what he should be. The problem is he's not super agile. He's not going to be able to erase defensive mistakes in the paint. So you got a guy like Bam Adebayo or Joel Embiid or Rudy Gobert or those caliber of guys, or Jakob Poeltl, for example, really good rim protector, really underrated rim protector. Those guys can erase defensive mistakes, and so coaches for those teams, they don't have to be as aggressive on the perimeter as the Bulls are, because they know, if they can show a little resistance, you know, uh, they're gonna give that guy enough time to get mobile in the paint. I mean, you can look at a guy like Mobley or Jared Allen. They eat guys up, and so it doesn't matter that Darius Garland isn't super great on defense, or whoever's on the perimeter for them, because they've got guys in the paint that just eat every shot up that goes in there. Vooch is not that guy, and so yes, it is an inherent weakness by playing Vooch as your five. You're not going to get rim protection from him, and so you have to scheme it to maximize his strengths, which are, he has really good hands. He gets his hands on a lot of balls when he's in the right position, and he's good moving laterally. So the Bulls play a really aggressive drop scheme where you see how high he is up on this screen, for example. He's at the top of the key. And you've got a lot of athletic, long wing defenders around him
yeah,
that can hop into the paint and, help on those drives. But the Bulls have to do that because of Vooch. That's the inherent weakness of Vooch. Like, they wouldn't have to do this with Wendell. They wouldn't have to do this if they had, you know, uh, a lot of the kind of more well-known defensive guys who are more mobile. So this is the price you have to pay, and it works really, really well. The Bulls were in elite defense this year with Vooch on the floor when Alex and Lonzo were healthy. But when they're not healthy, the scheme is not as effective, and I don't know if they have another. I mean, other than situational deep drop versus more aggressive drop, I'm not sure what they can really do to make Vooch not a liability on the defensive end for rim protection without those guys. I don't know. Do you have any ideas on that before we move on?
I mean, you could try since he's a little bit better laterally. You could try to have him even a little bit higher, and just but again, if you don't have the DJJs, the Lonzos, the Carusos, you can't trust Zach and DeMar
No.
to be where they need to be if you play that type of scheme. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah,
Is what it
it's
is.
tough. Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, especially late in the game. Late in the game, we'll get to it. But the Spurs basically had the best situation possible for them to run pick and roll, which is Zach defending the point of attack with Vooch behind him in that pick and roll, and DeMar as as the low man, the weak side help. Like, those are the three guys you want in pick and roll if you want to score, because they're the least effective guys on our team at handling that situation. And the Spurs, I mean, we'll see, but they just ate those situations up, and so that's why guys Alonzo and Caruso in our closing lineup make that so much harder for opposing teams to get around. They can't just run high pick and roll and score on us at will like they did last night.
If you look at like the alignment right now, like I'm looking at right. So you got Doug McDermott. He went 3 for 7, 42% from three. You got Derek White in the corner. He went 2 for 5, 40%. You got Keldon who went 4 for 8 from three. So right now you're
You can't help off those guys.
you just can't. And the Spurs knew it. And look, they're spaced. They know Pirtle is a very good screener, so that means DeJounte is going to be able to get downhill, and he'll be, if they help, kick it out to a shooter. If they don't, get a bucket. So it's like, oh man, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's tough.
Well, and by the way, the other two guys on the floor are DeJounte Murray, who had 29 points, 12 assists, and 9 rebounds. And Jakob Poeltl had 21 and 11.
My goodness, man.
So I mean, they just murdered us all night in pick and roll because those two guys are really, really good at pick and roll. And then the other three guys on the floor are shooting, 40+% from the field on high volume. Like, what are you going to do? What do you do is you get better defenders and you have to execute a little bit better and hope that they miss. So,
Yeah.
Salim had a question here. Would you recommend just going under the screen there for DeMar because DeJounte Murray isn't as much of a threat behind the arc as those other guys?
He went 2 for 4 from 3. So it's like, it's tough, man, because every game is its own story. So it's like DeJounte, man, like what is he shooting for 3 this year?
He's doing better if I remember right, but
like it's tough. Like you want to tell him to go. You may want to tell him to go over the screen. I mean, I'm sorry, under the screen. But at the same time, the way they were shooting, it's kind of like you want to force them off that line, and just hope that the guys will make the right rotations. And so I guess you could have told him to go under the screen, but I mean, the way these guys were shooting, man, I mean, doesn't really matter. It did, like when you're going against a team that's shooting this well, or that well, it's well, hold on now. He's only shooting 31%. Yeah, I probably would have told him to go under the screen. So I probably would have told him to go under the screen, but at the same time, it's probably the scheme. It's the scheme they want him. They probably want to push him over the ball screen into their scheme they want. But
it's cool. Cleaning the Glass says I'm not a subscriber, but then I tried click subscribe and it says I'm a subscriber. It just won't let me look at my content. So thank you, Cleaning the Glass, for being like a printer when you need it, which is not working. Oh boy. Yeah, 31%.
Yeah.
Anyways, we can move on from that, but we got a bunch of clips, but a lot of it stems from those specific issues. And so here you got Io getting he's now, if you look at his positioning, he looks like a guy who knows he's about to get screened.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to get in position. So if you want to play this one, we got Poeltl. Now he rejects the screen. Troy Brown Jr. gets caught watching a little bit. So if you want to go back there and watch Troy Brown Jr., he steps in just a smidge, and he's a little late, right? If you said if you're gonna come in and hedge from or come in and show from the strong side, you got to do it early, so you have time to get back out to that pass. Because he's as soon as DeJounte sees him coming in, he passes right to McDermott, who knocks down that three. Larro? Did I lose Larro? I did lose Larro. The Larro is gone. Well, that's not good. Oh boy. So yeah, so Larro's not here right now, which is fun because he's the one controlling the clip here, and it's gone. All right, guys, we're having a technical difficulty for a second. Yeah, frozen screen. I think Larro got knocked out, but Troy Brown Jr. there, when you're going to help from the strong side, if you're going to help, you got to come in early. You got to come in right when they were taking that drive because, Larro's power went out. He'll be back in a second, he said. So you want to be early on that rotation because you want to be able to have time to get out to that shooter. And Doug McDermott is shooting really, really, really well. As we know, as Bulls fans, he shot really well when he was here. But Doug McDermott is not the kind of guy you want to leave for very long if you're going to make that rotation. So Troy Brown Jr. actually got a lot of flack last night. I saw a lot of tweets about Troy Brown Jr. last night. And having watched the game, I don't think he deserved almost any of it. He missed 2 open threes. Other than that, I thought he played a pretty solid game. Like this little clip I had of him being a little bit late on a rotation is fairly minor stuff. I mean, he still got back and contested the three, just didn't go in, or it just went in. So, but I thought he did a pretty admirable job. I think he was really active on the glass. He got some really nice rebounds. He actually had a late offensive rebound that he got a little putback layup on. So I think Turbo Jr. Bulls fans need to leave him alone. I mean, the guy is what, like 11th or 12th in our rotation, and he's logging 30 minutes a night. So it is what it is. He's 22. He's definitely plays like a 22-year-old in a sense that he's got a little bit of a lack of consistency, but the dude plays hard. And I think he's played pretty well for us, to be honest. And I've always been a fan. But hopefully we'll get Larro back here in a second. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. I was waiting. You had this look on your face, Larro, like you were really worried about what I was saying. And I was like, can you show that? Like, because I just talked about how Troy was a little bit late of showing from the strong side. Yeah, Salim, I saw one of your tweets. How dare you? Just kidding. But he says, I critiqued Troy last night, but I got to give him props too. If you can pull that one back up, Larry, we'll get back to where we were. I'm just trying to monologue over here by myself.
Is that the same spot? It's the same spot.
I was just telling the people that, Troy Brown Jr. gets a little bit too much flack. He's playing 30 minutes a night or whatever, and he really shouldn't be. But he's 22. But I thought he played a pretty good game overall. But anyways, it was the play again. He comes in and shows. He comes over to the elbow. He's just half a second too late on that one, and gives Doug just enough time. And Doug's got a quick trigger finger. He's ready to shoot. Boom.
I think for this right here, is this why even with the guys I coach now is a part of the game is like knowing your personnel, knowing your teammates, knowing their strengths. And right now, like if this was Zach or if this was DeMar, I would say this is perfect, right? Getting here early. But like if you see here, like Io's here, he's there, he's on his hip, he's got his arm out. You don't have to dig that deep, and I think even right here he's fine.
But he takes one more step.
Yep, and that's when it's a little bit too late, especially for a shooter like Doug. I mean, we drafted the guy, so I mean, but it's like it's like I get it. He's trying to be in the right spot, but like I think again, you need to know your personnel. You need to understand that Vooch the only way he gets beat is if it's a straight downhill right away, guys coming right at him. That's when you get him. But for the most part, Vooch is going to be where he needs to be. And Io, if he's not screened, as well as like Pirtle could screen him, like he's going to be fine. He rarely gets beat off the dribble in pick and roll when he's not screened that well. I mean, there was a stat that came out, right? He's one of the top on-ball defenders in the NBA or what was it, rookies he was
number one for rookies and he was top 5 in the NBA. Because I had to reread that. I was like, wait a minute. is this a typo? No, he's really, really good. He's really good on ball. He did get, I will say, I didn't show the clips for mercy's sake, but he did get beat off the dribble twice by DeJounte Murray in a row tonight. Where he didn't get screened, and DeJounte Murray is that good, though. I mean, Iowa's long, and he's quick, and he's a good on-ball defender, and DeJounte Murray just got to the rim right over him twice anyway. So it is what it is. This is the NBA.
Yeah.
You're going to get beat off the dribble by somebody at some point. DeJounte's that guy. So I would have loved – DeJounte was one of my top targets in the offseason too before I thought if we could get Lonzo Ball and DeJounte Murray, I thought our team would be smoking hot. We ended up getting DeMar from the same team, but
right,
he's been pretty good, I guess. He's been okay. That DeMar guy.
DeMar has been everything and more. But I will say though, I I think we may differ a little bit on TBJ. And
Tell me how it
but I
is.
think but I think you're very correct in terms of the minutes that he's playing. Probably not the ideal amount of minutes that you would want him to play. But I do think there are some mental lapses.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
and
mentioned this when you were frozen. I said he's inconsistent, but he
mhm.
does try hard.
Oh
He's
yeah.
just he makes mental mistakes for
Hmm.
sure.
But you know, that I mean, to be honest, that's about it for me with TBJ in terms of my negatives. Is I think the mental lapses happen a bit too much.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, I mean, dude, like you say, he tries. Dude is diving out of bounds for loose balls. He's when everybody else is running back to get back on defense, he's still fighting for an offensive rebound. Like he definitely is that guy that gives you full effort.
Yeah, I love to be honest. My favorite thing is to watch him rebound. He is a really good rebounder, especially in traffic.
Hmm.
He's pulled down some really good rebounds for us this year when we've really needed him. So yeah, I mean, I just hate how Bulls fans love to like pick a scapegoat, and
Hmm.
for some reason, Torbound Jr. has become the scapegoat the last couple of weeks of like all the Bulls' problems. Before it was Vooch, um, but Bulls fans just never learn. Like, come on, like it's not as simple as that. It's a team game,
Yeah.
and it's defense takes all five guys, and there's some times where you get beat off the dribble. That happens, or sometimes you have a missed rotation. We're going to show a lot of them tonight, but I don't think that reflects. I don't know. I just you got to take it. You got to take it in the entire context with their contract, their role, their responsibility, their expected role, the effort they give. I just think Turban Jr. gets more flack than he deserves in general. But I mean, I think he's right where he needs to be as far as like how much he's getting paid and the type of role he was expected to have this season. He's playing more minutes. Like I don't think Matt Thomas should see the floor, but Matt Thomas has to see the floor because of where we are right now.
Hmm.
That's just the way it is. But I don't think that's a failing on Matt Thomas. Like I don't think we should blame Matt Thomas because he's playing 20 minutes a night and when he should be playing zero. It's like Arch, right? Arch the last 5 years. Like when Arch is playing 20 minutes a night, it's not Arch's fault. He's trying his best. He's an NBA player, but he's not a 20-minute a night NBA player. He's not the guy you should be leaning on. If you're leaning on him, you got bigger problems.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same about Troy Brown Jr. And he's only 22.
Yeah.
I do think he's got a lot of skills, and if he can just improve that consistency, I think he's going to be a really useful player for a long time.
Yeah. I agree. He got some skills that you see. You saw it. I mean, we talked about it before we even before we got him and when we got him about the bubble, those flashes in the bubble. You're like there's something there.
He's a great passer.
Hmm.
Heck,
Yeah.
he can whip that ball. Anyways, Roy had a question. Roy C, welcome to the stream. Why did they not go zone for a few plays just to kind of get them off their rhythm and pick and roll? What would you say to that?
Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you that unless I was in the huddle. I don't know why they don't do it. I will say though that I think some people will it's hard to understand, I guess, but if you're not good at man, your chances are you're not gonna be good at zone because in zone you need to communicate even more than you do man. The rotations have to be even better when you're in zone. So like I could see why Billy may not have wanted to go zone because like you need to be on point if you're in zone, especially in the NBA. Especially with these type of shooters, what kind of zone you want to go? You want to go 2-3 zone? That's tough with these type of shooters on the floor. A guy like DeJounte Murray that you screen the inside of the top of the two defenders. He can get in the middle of the zone, cause help. You find a shooter. So it's like I could see why Billy may not have wanted to go zone. But again, I'm not in the huddle. I'm not at practices. I don't know why they may not want to go zone. I'm just guessing, but that would be my best guess.
Yeah, and Billy, I think in general has been pretty conservative with his scheme. Like he kind of He wants the guys to execute within the scheme rather than he's not a coach that changes up the scheme a ton. Like the Hornets, for example, ran zone more than any other team in the league last year, I think.
Yeah,
Some guys switch it up, and Billy's Billy just hasn't really been that guy, so it may just be kind of Billy's style. But
yeah,
you're right. I mean, you have to really, really communicate on zone, and if in a game like this, maybe run it for a possession or two just to kind of see if you can throw them off their rhythm for a minute. But you may end up getting cooked for two or three straight possessions, and then go back to your normal stuff and be like, yeah. But that's a great question, Roy. Thank you for the question. That's a good question. All right.
I think also too last season we talked about when we had Wendell, why don't they do more than the deep drop? And I think
Yeah.
we're learning that Billy was kind of like, nah, we kind of have to do deep drop because if I bring Wendell up higher, I don't trust the rotations on the backside.
Which you
And
shouldn't have.
is exactly. And once again, just like Vooch at times, and Wendell got blamed, just like Vooch is getting blamed. You kind of have to understand the schemes and what they expect out of each position on the floor. Like, I think it's easy just to blame players, but like, how about you got to dive in deep, a little bit deeper, do your own little research, and understand what each scheme calls for, and so you have a better understanding of what Vooch is supposed to do and what the guys on the weak side or strong side are supposed to do. And there you go.
So let's see. We've gone through 22 seconds of this almost 3-minute video. So I'll try and keep it a little more simple. But here is Zach gets screened by Eubanks, and I think that was
Devin Vassell.
Devin Vassell. Yeah, I don't know if it's Vassell or Vassell. I always call him Vassell. I'm going to call him Vassell. So Devin Vassell comes, gets the screen. Zach gets screened.
I can tell you right now, like when you're watching a game, or not you, Chris, but like our viewers and a lot of these guys in the chat know ball, but like just on a chance that somebody doesn't know. But like right now, you could tell right now by Zach's body that he's not going to get over that screen.
No, he's running right into it.
Yeah, this top foot here has to be over that foot. So if it's he's basically splitting the body, like he's gonna get hit by that screen. So Vooch sees that and he knows, like, see, this is where it comes in tough for him, man, because if you're not Rudy, like you said, if you're not Rudy, you're not Bam, you're not some of the best rim protectors on the floor. And even if like you're not a good rim protector and maybe you're just a very cerebral and agile defender where you can kind of kill advantages because you're just so you read the floor, you read the game so well that you can kill advantages by either stepping up or being where you need to be in terms of reading ahead of the play and understanding where the next pass will go. But like Vooch is a smart player, but like he just doesn't have the athletic ability to do the things that his brain probably processes. But like right here, like this is tough for him, like when you're playing drop, you have to continue to drop at the same depth as the roller, right? Like I think some people say like, Vooch, why didn't you contest the jump shot? Well, if you look at the play, he wants to, like you see it right now, he wants to, but the roller, Eubanks is rolling hard to the basket. He has to drop with the roller, and
you see him have his hands like that. He's trying to account for Eubanks. And look at Zach right here. After Zach is caught by the screen, watch his lock and trail. It's terrible.
Yeah.
He's trying to anticipate him going to the basket. Right. He's trying to dive to the basket before him, and he just pulls right up. It's an easy shot.
Like I can see what Zach was thinking, because if you see him, like he right now, boom, he's trying to get his hand down for a bounce pass, but brother, he's already getting into his shot. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. Look at Kobe. I know we're not talking about Kobe right now.
I love it.
Look, Kobe's where he needs to be.
I love it. Kobe has been so good as a weak side help defender. That man is getting to the rim all the time with his hands up trying to contest. His little short arms, unfortunately, not doing a whole bunch. But
Mm.
he has stonewalled a couple of people at the rim and made them take tougher shots.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So here's another one. It's a side pick and roll here. And DeJounte Murray just comes right over. Let's see. I think I was trying to see the difference in the lock and trail, maybe, but
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he bothers that shot.
Look at his footwork over the screen too. He gets
Mm-hmm.
clipped a little bit, but how? Oh wait, this is the wrong one. Let me go here. Here it is, I think. But yeah, look at that. Like he's dipping his shoulder. He's trying to get over the screen like that. That's that's good stuff. And he'll get better as he gets more games under his belt.
And he still got clipped by it. I mean, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get clipped by a screen. Like I've seen Caruso get just completely destroyed on screens.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be perfect at it, but if you have the right fundamentals and you can anticipate and you have that processing speed, you're going to do it more times than not. And that's going to, you guys have no idea. I mean, I know you guys do if you've watched the show, but screen navigation is one of the most important fundamental things you can be good at basketball and really change the game. I mean, Alex Caruso's screen navigation is like championship level change to a team's defense. Like it's just huge what that does. It blows up so many actions that other teams are trying to run. It's just that one simple thing. And if every player could do it as well as him, they probably wouldn't run pick and roll very much because it's just pointless. Oh man, I miss that man. I'm so mad. I'm so mad that he's out for like 2 months. I'm so pissed off.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man.
All right, well, let's go to the next play here. What do we got? Kobe gets around the screen. Oh yeah, here's a little miscommunication between those two guys. If you go, so it's Troy Brown Jr. and Kobe. So Kobe gets around the screen pretty well, but Troy doesn't. Troy kind of anticipates him getting hit by that screen, and so he just kind of slides over just to kind of like help. Oof. And then Kobe turns around and starts head towards the other guy right as Troy gets hit by a screen that I don't think he realizes is coming.
Yeah.
And so now you got 0 guys on the ball. And so Vooch has to step over. And now you got the roller. And Io doesn't. Yeah, anyways, it just it gets right to the rim.
Domino. Yeah.
Yeah. So just a little miscommunication. But I don't think it was. I think both are, not trying to do anything dumb. It's just, I think Troy got hit by that screen. And I think the communication you could see. It's interesting when I was listening to it. Tyler Cook was really, really communicative on the defensive end. Like he was yelling at guys every time he was on the floor. Mm-hmm. He was doing a really good job. I don't think Vooch is quite as loud on defense. Like you can't hear Vooch. I never hear Vooch talking on defense, and I don't think Troy knew that screen was coming at all. But anyways, a small thing. All right, here we go again. DeMar's going to get put in the screen by Eubanks, or looks like it's going to be, and. Yeah, I think it was Devin Vassell. Gets right to the rim. But I think it was a weak side help rotation here. Troy.
Yep.
Just a little bit too late. Like he had the right idea, but I think he just got there just like right now. He's right when he was at the top of the key. Troy should have been coming over.
Yeah.
But
he was there. I think he just. Maybe he could have stepped up a little higher, communicated to Kobe.
Just half a second. I thought too late, but here's another fun one.
I'll rewind it back.
Watch DeMar on this. Keldon Johnson starts kind of just drifting towards the corner, just drifting, and then stops. Watch him stop. Anyways, sorry, a little bit before that, he stops right here and watch DeMar. DeMar just drifts a little bit further. Boom.
They got him. Fake exchange.
It was little things. And then this another DeMar one. Sorry, man. Another DeMar one. I don't know what he's doing here.
He's trying to play 2. He just did it the wrong way. Yeah, he's trying to play 2. Because Zach I don't know what Zach was doing, but look, you see him right here. He's like trying to play 2, and they just made the right decision. But I mean, that's tough.
Oh,
What
there's
are
another
we?
one.
God, this is a hodgepodge of just like, guys, what are we doing?
Okay, this one's fun though. First of all, this is Zach's fault. Zach shows there's not even a screen here. Zach thinks there's going to be a screen and kind of just does this little shimmy in place all of a sudden, and lets Derek White go all the way to the rim. Vooch has to follow him, and there's no help. Well, I mean Troy's there, but he's he was
That's a
trying.
that's a
That's just
damn good
bad.
pass, man.
It is. He
That
threw
that,
it
that
behind him.
yeah, it's like to be able to get it to like to read that's where you need to get the ball through the crease like that quickly is pretty cool. But like, you're right. I mean, I think is that okay, you made this
Oh,
easy. I'll push him. We're pushing it, and then boom. It's like
it's over. It's free
I think
layups.
my pet peeve right now with big men, especially big guys like Vooch, stay on your damn feet. Like that's my biggest pet peeve with big guys like that. Like Derek White ain't putting that on your head. Stay on your
Yeah.
feet. Keep your 7-foot wingspan up. And
Mhm.
if he stays on his feet, he can flip his hips. I saw a clip where he flipped his hips and got to Demonis to Sabonis. Like stay on your feet, and that's a big pet peeve of mine. Just like
Yeah.
stay on your feet.
I think here's another one. So Troy does a good job here. If you want,
I'll go back.
yeah, let's see. So Troy gets screened, or it looks like he's gonna get screened, but he doesn't. He stays all the way, and then it gets it back.
Zachary.
Zach. That's what this was. This play was about. Zach, what are you doing? He's in the paint for just too long, right? He's got the good idea. Right? He's the low man. He comes over. He sees it, but you get out of there. Once you see Troy's there, get out
Yeah.
of there.
Like
out of there.
that clip right there, that little clip right there is is what Chip was talking about when he was on our show, when he said that for football scouts, right, with offensive linemen, when you scout them, when you take care of your first responsibility, what are you doing?
Find the next
what
one.
you
Yep.
find the work, right? So like you said, Troy's already there. Zach should be like, okay, let me see where the next work is. And he doesn't. He kind of just sits in no man's land, and
Yeah.
there's Derek White who's a knockdown 3-point shooter. I mean,
And he does it. Danny, by the way, Danny says, "What's up, boys? Just want to let you know I've been lurking for a while. Work till 3 a.m. most Saturdays now. Having to listen recorded. You guys are crushing it. I like this defense. I appreciate it, Dan. Nice to see you, Mr. Daniel Foy, back in the building.
Let me rewind it.
All right, so here's the next one. Kobe gets screened, but he does a good job getting back into play.
Yep.
Troy overcommits just a little bit, and that's the end of it.
I'm trying to get a good look at it. Okay, so Kobe with the chicken wing.
Yep.
TBJ.
Good way to get around the screen.
Troy Brown. Tony in front of the ball. Okay.
What's so funny? I didn't realize it was Tony Bradley in the game. I didn't realize he got minutes.
Look at this. That's a problem.
Well, look at the back cut.
Exactly. Nobody is connected to their man here. Eyes looking like that's a problem.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Just
I would say this is nitpicky, but I would say with TBJ, like Troy Brown is godly. Tony is there already, right? So get to your guy, kind of fade to your 3-point. He's a 3-point shooter. Get to your guy here. You got Kobe coming as well, so like that's good. Just get to your guy and But he kind of, I get it. He shows a little bit, but that's a little too late. That's even a bad pass. It's a bad closeout. It's just, man, like it's just that type of stuff, Chris. Like,
yeah,
like just a small little thing. That's all it takes. Just that one small misstep. That false step. You playing against a team that has guys that'll make that right pass at the right time, and that's what happens.
Yeah. And this is Larro. This is the team that all these national guys thought they would be this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great on offense, but kind of Swiss cheese on defense. They got some guys out there, but without Lonzo, without Alex Caruso, they're going to be an average to below average defensive team. Just unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And the only way they can change that, I think they can be an average defense or slightly above average defense, but they have to get the execution down.
Yeah.
Like they've still got bodies to play good defense. They just can't be elite.
Yeah.
They just can't be at that elite level. By the way, I love the Spurs uniforms. These little Fiesta ones are smoking. I love them.
Yeah, I think this is my second time seeing them. I think I do like them.
I love the court too. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Plus they play Spanish music, and anyways, just completely my jam. So, all right. So here we've got, I think is that Derek White with the ball?
Yep.
Javante's up on him on the left wing, and
Lonnie.
he's gonna get screened by Lonnie Walker. Kobe White, yeah, they comes around and gets an open three. Okay, let's see what happened. Oh, Troy Brown actually got screened here. It was an illegal screen. If you watch Pirtle, completely holds him. You can tell it. And you can see Troy arguing with the ref right after. But anyways, so this is just a three because they're like, oh, there's an open three. What was Troy Brown doing? Because I remember Stacey King was going off on Troy Brown Jr. right here.
Yeah.
Telling him, oh, you got to watch your man, know your personnel. Like you can't let him get the open three. But Pirtle definitely held him there. But yeah, small thing.
It's a small thing,
but there's lots of small things in this game.
My problem is, why are we trying to cheat that?
Yeah,
like just go lock and trail them. That's on my only problem with that play is like, why are you trying to cheat that screen? Just lock and trail.
Well, here's my defense of it. If you go back and look, if you go back.
Oh, my bad. Let me get back over here.
Watch his man kind of pushes off of him, and then Troy thinks he's coming around to screen, so he's trying to beat him around that screen. As he said, he's trying to cheat the screen, but he thinks that's where he's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so a small thing, but it's the thing that costs you 3 points. So, all right, here we go. So Troy Brown Jr. gets a little turnaround here, but he comes back. The problem is the weak side help. It's just not here. Whatever side you think is weak, the weak side here, someone's got to help. It's Kobe and Zach on the bottom. Here we go. Yeah, that's okay. So he comes around this.
His last play.
No, the next one. All right, right after this one, he shoots it. Okay, now watch this. So Troy comes around the screen, turns, but he gets back into it. Just the help was too late. Troy ends up fouling him.
This is another great set. Here's the deal. Here's the deal, man. It's like these two, Tyler and Troy, they have to be on a string. Like they just have to be, because right now, Tyler, like Troy needs to let him know right now, or maybe a couple steps before. Hey, Tyler, I'm here. Don't worry. Get back to yours. If Tyler doesn't hear that, he's going to step up. And Derek does a good job, right? So if the help is there, I mean, you got shooter. So wherever the help comes from, it's easy, spray out to the shooter. So it's like it puts these two guys in a situation when the point of attack is just not where it needs to be. And I just don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
I think this one's on. I mean, the initial miscommunication between Cook and, because I thought Troy Brown Jr. got back onto his man. I think Tyler Cook should have dropped with Pirtle. Instead, he comes up and tries to kind of stonewall him. Zach is too late. I think Zach should have helped a little earlier. But as you mentioned, they got shooter in the corner. So then you have to have Javante X out, right?
Yeah.
But
Like
they didn't do either of them.
Zach is no doubt right now he's where he needs to be. Now he needs to get over. But
He's too late. He's just watching it.
But it's just tough, man, because the point of attack kind of got screwed up pretty badly, and it just, man, like that we would have to talk about that in film session. Like, why did that happen? I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, maybe we'll keep it playing at this speed and just go a little bit. So Io's here at the top of the key. DeJounte Murray's going to just screen him around Pirtle. He gets screened pretty good. Just a nice, easy, free basket. Oh, what they did here, the reason I want to show this is they dragged the help out. If you go a little earlier to the very beginning of this clip.
I'll dog it.
Okay, right.
All right, here we go.
There.
Yep.
They dragged Troy. They dragged Troy off that side so they can get a little empty side pick and roll.
Yep.
Because they've been screening Io and they know DeJounte is going to get right to the rim.
I think this is I love Vooch. I love Vooch. Okay.
No, you're gonna say something negative now.
But like this is probably my biggest pet peeve with Vooch. And this happens a lot. But like I just want you to contest it. Just contest it. Like that's all I want you to do. And a lot of times he just kind of all right.
He's got his hands to the side, but not up. Doesn't have them up.
No. Just contest it. Even if you don't want to jump, Vooch, just use that wingspan.
Here's another one. High pick and roll. Gets right through the screen, right around Vooch.
I gotta say, I will say, sometimes, like in some of these situations, like this is a hell of a finish. Like over a 7-footer with a 7-foot wingspan off the glass, nothing but like that's a tough finish.
DeJounte's that guy, but look, watch if you watch how he gets under Vooch's body on this drive, right there. He takes that little kind of extra step, gets him almost on his back.
Yeah.
So he can get that separation. I mean, it's still a tough finish.
Yeah.
But DeJounte's that guy. I mean, he's good. So here DeJounte's oh yeah, here's another one with who is this? Who is at fault here?
DeMar.
Oh, this is DeMar. Yeah.
Yep.
DeMar's guarding nobody. Like what?
Again, the easiest screen Pirtle's ever set before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
this is
man.
this is late in the game. I mean, the game is within reach. We're within 4 points here. DeMar's just guarding nobody. It's like super easy pass for DeJounte to make. To Keldon Johnson, who by the way went 50%, 4 of 8.
I want to say that
5 of 10. Let me see.
It looks like Lonnie. It looks like Lonnie is expecting for Keldon to drop to the corner, because it looks like they're trying to set up maybe like a hammer or a corner pin. But like I just want to say maybe that Keldon was doing a good job of just reading his defender. That's pretty cool, because I thought Keldon, because I'm a Kentucky fan, so like seeing him do things like this, just he probably should go to the corner, but he stays there because he sees his man, and I thought that's pretty cool of Keldon developing that way. But anyway, yeah, DeMar has to be better there.
Yeah. All right, here's another one. Io overplays a little bit. No one comes to help. That's Zach. To me, that's Zach. All right. Yeah, sorry. It's after this one.
Where are you at?
All right, DeJounte makes the pass to the corner to Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker takes 1-2 steps. And Pirtle's running straight to the rim from the 3-point line.
Who is he guarding? Oh, Derek. Okay. I
don't know. And that's a tough possession to give up. All right, here we go. Another one. This is Derek White coming off the screen. Javonte Green.
And these dudes.
Like, that's tough. This is a tough finish too. He does the same thing. He gets right under Vooch's body.
Like I
can't recall why I didn't like this one. Maybe just getting caught on the screen.
By the screen.
That's okay. I don't know. I can't recall. It was just late in the game. I was like, man, this is a
Maybe let's
tough
see.
bucket to give up.
Maybe you were
Was
thinking
it
Io
Zach?
could no help, maybe, but that's one pass away. I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I
That's
think
just because they just scored on this all night long.
next
Oh, here we go
play,
again.
112, 120.
DeJounte screens, gets right up in there.
I
Easy
mean,
floater.
dude, these are tough finishes.
I know what that's DeJounte's game. DeJounte is so good at that stuff.
Like right now, like how could you be mad at Vooch? Like he jumps, he contests.
No,
Like
no,
it
no.
didn't matter.
That was good defense. I thought maybe that was meant to be in my good defense clips, and I just messed it up. But let's see. Was this one bad?
Let's see.
Okay, Kobe White's gonna get screened. Yep. He spins around. Oh, Vooch has to come up, and they just get easy Pirtle right to the rim.
I think DeMar has to get over there.
Yes. Yep. DeMar needs to be on that low man help. Yeah, DeMar and Zach were the worst defenders tonight on as far as help defense.
Unreal, man.
Here's another one.
You know
Oh,
what?
this is the worst.
Oh, okay.
These just
Oh
Zach,
Lord,
man.
got shifted.
They did this. They did the empty side pick and roll, and just no one. And then DeMar didn't help. No one like Pirtle's just waiting there for an easy bucket. So Zach anticipates like he's going to get screened. Then they switch. Then Zach decides to come back. So now no one's on. And then Io has to get out because Keldon Johnson's now wide open. And yeah, it's just created because, here's another one. Zach getting pre-screened. He's like walking into the screen. And then he just gambles. And that was the game right there.
Horrible effort. Horrible.
The score here, I think it was 120 to 126.
Yep.
You get it, and you have like 40 seconds left. You're in the game. You're still in the game here, and Zach just tries to reach in behind. Kobe tries to come over and help, but that's a DeJounte floater for the win. Like that was it.
Like this play here, that one play right before, right here.
Yeah.
Like my problem with Zach is like I get that you're forcing on baseline, but I need for you to get back in front of the damn ball so Vooch can get back to where he needs to go. Right. Like right now, I get what he's trying to guide him. No, like I need for you to get in front of DeJounte, get in front of DeJounte, so now Vooch can slide back to Pirtle, but he doesn't. He just kind of rides it out, and then now
corral him. Yeah,
it's like,
and then they both jump. He's behind the basket. They both jump,
not knowing where you are on the damn floor, not paying attention. And I can't remember who it was. I want to say Zach did this. Maybe did he do it against the Toronto Raptors? I can't remember who it was. It was either Io or Kobe that were like very pissed off at him for an effort that was just bad. It was just bad effort. Like, what are we doing, Zach? Like you said before the season that you want to be a better defender. You want to be making all defensive team. Like, this is not the effort that's going to get you that. And I'm not sitting here trying to be the guy that, sitting at home in his kitchen, that doesn't play in the NBA, telling a guy that is in NBA that he needs to be better. But like, I'm just holding you to your own standard, what you said, you know what I'm saying? So it's like this effort that you're showing doesn't match up to what you said that you wanted to try to, do. So I just, this is just bad, right? This right here, this, like, what are we doing? Like, I don't, and Kobe tries to get over there and help.
Yeah.
I just, man.
I knew that one. We saved the best for last. And I didn't plan it that way. It's just that was the last possession they had. So anyways, those are the clips I had. That's the Spurs game. I actually thought, looking back at it, the defense wasn't as bad overall as I thought it was going to be but there were just key moments like that were just too much. And you know, maybe if the Spurs miss a couple, that game comes down to the wire. But it's tough. The Bulls are missing their best defenders. There's no way around it. And yeah, it's just Larro. My guy Larro's been like down here for a lot of the thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a continuing problem. Like I think I said on Twitter the other day, continuing dribble penetration is going to be tough. I mean, Io and Javante are good defenders. They're good. They're quality defenders. Kobe's getting a lot better. Zach and DeMar are capable of being good defenders, especially in help, but they've got to be locked in and they got to give appropriate effort. And I thought there was blame to go around tonight or for last night's game. I mean, it's team defense, and they just weren't on a string all the time. There's miscommunication, and you can still win and have that stuff, but you just make your job a lot harder when it goes like that. Salim's right. Just miss Alex Caruso. Just miss Alex Caruso a lot, and we're gonna really miss him. But it's gonna be interesting because I think our seeding is gonna drop. I really think we're probably gonna finish between 4 and 6. I don't think we'll drop to 7th by the end of the season, but I think our team's gonna look. I think we're gonna. What am I trying to say here? I think our team is going to be a lot better than we're going to appear to be at the end of the season. Because if we get Pat back, if we get Alex back, if we get Lonzo back, if we get DJ back, if we add a piece at the deadline that shores up our front court a little bit, I think we're going to be a really, really dangerous team because we've got the firepower on this squad to compete with anybody, and we've got the defensive chops to compete with anybody if we can get Pat back and or some other help, as from a large forward or center position. That's my opinion, but that lack of home court advantage is going to really hurt our chances. And I think you have to thank Grayson Allen for that, honestly. Because I think if we had Alex Caruso and we're just missing Lonzo, I don't think we drop this game. I don't think we get blown out by the Magic. He is that important to our team.
Yeah.
And it's just going to suck without him. I think we're going to be a really dangerous playoff team. I think we're still going to make the playoffs. I think we're still going to be a tough out in the playoffs. But it's stuff like this that they got to clean up in the meantime. So maybe this is good that they can learn how to be better at defense without having to rely on Caruso, without having to rely on Lonzo, because I think there's been times earlier this year where we've looked over film and Zach and DeMar have been chilling a little bit too much because Caruso and Lonzo can kind of make up for those deficiencies. They're gonna have to kick it in gear. They're gonna have to work their butts off on defense, I think, a little bit more. Yep. Salim, you may be right. I mean, we may still be able to keep a top 3 seed, but the Heat are good. Philly's coming. Cavaliers aren't going away, and if they get another guard at the trade deadline, they can trade Ricky Rubio on like a first for something. They're going to be a tough prospect in the regular season. But yeah, it's tough sailing, tough sledding. I think it's tough sledding is the phrase I'm looking for. Tough sledding for the Bulls right now. By the way, how's the weather in Chicago? I saw a picture of a frozen lake recently. And I see you're not in your garage anymore. It must be too cold out there.
Yeah, it's a little too cold for that, man. It's a little too cold for that. I'm not trying to be in there in like a full like bubble coat. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
No, man. I think I'm right there with you in terms of it's going to be tough sledding without AC. But the thing is, they have to, they have to win the games they should win. Like That's what you have to do. You have to win the games you should win. The Magic game, that should be a win. There's no the reason that should not have been a win. You have to win those games. So if they want to continue to be a top 3 seed, that's the way. You just got to beat the teams. And what is the schedule? I think the schedule coming up, like there's some winnable games that should,
Yeah. Well, if they had just taken care of business and not dropped the Magic and Spurs game, they'd still be the 1 seed today. Their next games are against the Trailblazers tomorrow at home. That's a game they have to win. But the Trailblazers have been doing a little better recently. Then they've got the Magic again on Tuesday at home. Then they've got the Raptors again on Thursday in Toronto. And then they fly from – this is going to be tough. They fly from Toronto to the Pacers for Friday. Those are all winnable games, though. Yeah. I think they're probably going to drop one to the Raptors, the Pacers, or maybe both. But then next Sunday, they have a back-to-back with the Sixers and the Suns, both at home. But that's going to be a brutal back-to-back. Brutal back-to-back. And then they get the Hornets, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Spurs, the Kings all in a row. And then they finish out the month with the Hawks, the Grizzlies, and the Heat. Hawks are doing a lot better recently. They've got all their players back. So they have to take advantage, and they got to stack up these wins because the schedule, they're going to play some tough teams.
That's
February.
That Suns game scares me.
They're gonna get destroyed. I mean, there's no way around it.
I mean, if they're allowing, like, no disrespect to DeJounte at all, but like if they're allowing DeJounte to get downhill and go to work, I mean, what is Chris Paul? What is Devin Booker? What are they gonna do? So, I mean, man, that's gonna be a tough game to watch. But but here's the deal. This is why I always thought, coming into the season, when you added DeMar, when you added, when you have Zach and you have Vooch, you're gonna always have a chance to win the game. It's just how can it happen, in terms of, what is the game presenting to you, So I just we'll see, man. We'll see. Yep. They got some guys, they got guys. Maybe by that time Zach will have his game be back in game shape. He'll be making those tough shots that he likes to take and attacking downhill more often. I think that's something we need to see out of Zach a little bit more often, is attacking downhill, because I think when he is that guy getting downhill and being attacking the basket, I mean, there isn't many guys that can, if you're Matisse Thybulle, but
oh man, I forgot, dude. That's gonna be a terrible Philly game too.
Yeah,
you got MVP Embiid. Furkan Korkmaz is probably gonna have another career game against us. No one's gonna stop Embiid, and then you got Matisse Thybulle, the Levine stopper on the other end.
Man,
that game's gonna suck.
I
think that's after the deadline.
Really? Okay.
Let's see. I gotta remember. No, that's right before the deadline. Yeah, the 6th and the 7th. Deadline's the 10th. So no help is on the way. Yes, I am crazy, Slim. I'm trying to come to Chicago at the end of February. I'm excited though. I'm excited.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna say we'll be mostly indoors. I'm gonna be mostly indoors. I'm not crazy, but I'll be at the Podcast Palooza on that Sunday, the 27th, I believe. And I'll be in Chicago that weekend. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Bringing the wife with me.
We can hear more. We're going to be able to hear more propaganda, more IO propaganda from Fred, and how he's better than Josh Giddey, and he's, So
sometimes Fred Bitt goes a little too far.
The one today. The one today.
Oh, that's not even, man. Speaking of Matisse Thybulle.
Oh man. Oh gosh, man. I don't know about that guy.
We gotta have Fred back on here. He's a hoot.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. Really funny. But I just wanted to ask you before we get out of here. If we don't go Barnes, we don't go. We're definitely not going with Jeremy. Jeremy's put it out there, dude. I ain't going nowhere where I'm not a guy.
Yeah, the
You
guy.
know,
Yeah.
right? You know, so Jeremy's not gonna come. But like, if you don't get Barnes or Kuzma, like who are like, have you looked at any like around the margins or maybe buyout guys that may be worth it?
I have a little bit. I'm definitely going to do more of it this upcoming week because,
Hmm.
and I think maybe it's a good time to announce our show next week. We are going to be doing a trade deadline kind of special. So we want you guys to send us your best trades or your worst trades, Bulls centric trades you think the Bulls should do, could do, are a possibility. It's got to work in the trade machine. You can use the trade machine on ESPN, or you can use the one at fanspo.com, fanspo.com. I think I like that one a little bit better. Tells you, anyways, it's a little bit more detailed. But we would love to see your trade ideas. You can send them, you can email them to bulls101podcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at us at KLA Hoops, at _Larro Hoops, or at sorry, at our podcast Twitter account, which is at Bulls101 Podcast. So send us your crazy trade ideas, your best trade ideas, and we'll break them down. And I don't know, maybe we'll have a guest. Maybe we'll just do it solo. We'll see. But that'll be really fun because I'm excited. So I'll have some more. I'll have some, and Larro, you'll probably have some too to talk about because the trade deadline will be coming. But to answer your question, like PJ Washington, I don't know if he's low key, but he's a guy I would love to have.
Yeah,
Harrison Barnes, I would love to have Rashawn Holmes. I don't know if he's super low key. Robert Covington, Larry Nance. I'd take either one of those guys from Portland. I don't know what I don't think the Timberwolves are moving Vanderbilt unless they get Simmons, but he would be a guy I'd love to swoop in and get. He's tough, good rebounder, really tough defender. He's doing really well. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some other guys. Nick Claxton may be on the market. And Nick Claxton was really, really useful for the Nets last year. He may be a guy to look at. Trying to think. The Celtics, I know, are trying to get out of the tax. The Blazers are trying to get out of the tax. The Celtics may have like Grant Williams might be a guy to look at. Trying to think around the league. Pacers, I might try and pick up a guy like Justin Holiday from the Pacers.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think he'd be a really nice kind of wing option that you could play. He's like kind of what you hope Troy Brown Jr. would give you in a sense, in some ways.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any other guys I can think of that come off the top of my head.
What about if it happens, Millsap? Are you willing to give him a chance?
I'm conflicted on it. At the beginning of the season, I would have said, heck yes, he's the guy. He has looked his age so far this year on defense and on offense, actually even more. Maybe that's just the net situation, but if the Bulls if it costs you Matt Thomas, maybe. If it costs you someone other than Matt Thomas, I'd probably say no. Maybe like, would he be more valuable than Alphonso McKinney? I'm going to look back at this in 3 months when Millsap is like having an all-star season for us and be like, what an idiot. Why wouldn't you cut, Alphonso McKinney or something like that? But I don't know. Like it's a risk. Sometimes you got guys doing like the Blake Griffin fake where it's like, oh, I'm all broken down in Detroit. And then he gets to the Nets and has like a really great season with the Nets. He's dunking all over the place. So I don't know, like situation does matter. And maybe that's the thing for Millsap. But if he's looking for a role on a contender, I feel like the Nets should be a good place for him. Like they need his help.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is with the Nets, but for whatever reason, it's not working. I'm not sure if it's his health, if it's his performance, if there's something else going on. But I still think he's definitely he's a really smart vet. He's very smart. you could do a lot worse than Paul Millsap. I'll just say that.
Yeah, no, I
Another
agree.
gu- another guy I'd be looking at, Kyle Anderson from the
Mm,
Grizzlies or Brandon Clark. I'd like both of those guys at the beginning of the year. I don't think they're going to get rid of Brandon Clark. I thought they might have
mm.
at the beginning of the season. Um,
He's turned it
for,
around.
yes, he has. Think of any other guy. I'm trying to look at teams here. Maybe the
Mm,
Pelicans, if they're willing to move on from Jackson Hayes, maybe an option at the backup five.
okay.
He's shown some good stuff. The Wizards, though, Kuzma, if they're selling, Kuzma would be a really nice get. I don't know what they'd want. We were talking about it in DMs the day. Like if it costs you Kobe and that Portland first or something, I'm like, I don't know. I have to think about that. But he's a really good player on a really good deal for the next 3 years.
Man, Kuzma has really, besides his, and I'm not even gonna go there, but but like but like on the court, man, that dude has been pretty dang good, man.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, he has.
man, I mean, we've seen it when we played against him. I mean, he's been pretty good.
Yep. He's been really nice. He got into the paint at will against us last game. So
What he's got, I mean,
he's having a great season.
yeah.
He's having a great season. And the thing that's nice is even if it's a mirage, right? Even if he doesn't play like this the rest of the year or the rest of his contract, 13 million for like a decent role player, even if he kind of reverts back to decent role player instead of really high end role player / like borderline, he's been really good.
Mhm.
So even if he goes back to being like normal Kuzma, he's still worth 13 million and he could still help this team a lot, I think. But yeah, it's as long as it's not sweater weather in Chicago, I think Kuzma would be really a good fit here. Shout out Danny.
Let's see.
That fashion sense. You know what's funny? I heard on the low post they had Bobby Marks on.
Uh-huh.
This has nothing to do with the Bulls. You know who would be a really good team to trade for Westbrook? The Knicks.
Oh, they need that on-ball creator.
And they've got, I mean, they can trade. They could trade Kemba Walker, Alec Burks, and who's Fournier. They can trade Evan Fournier, and that would get them. They could trade that, and the salaries match enough that they can make that trade. I'm just saying, Lakers and Knicks. I know Knicks fans are like gonna. If anyone hears that from the Knicks, they're gonna off of my mentions. But I'm like, you know what? That actually might work pretty well.
In the last month, Kuzma is at 22.5 on 51% from the floor. He's shooting about 35% on 5 threes a game, 11 rebounds, and a block per game. Yeah,
He could help us.
Yeah, he can help. He can definitely help.
You know what though? I want Patrick Williams to come back. I want him in February. I want Patrick Williams in February.
That'd be great.
I want it.
That'd
Make
be,
it happen, Larro. Make whatever call you need to make, Larro. Make it happen. I want Patrick Williams back on my team.
Dude, Pat is I think it's with him being I think there's a lot of people that obviously love Pat, but I think it was very easy. It's very easy to forget like the potential skills and the skill set in his age that you forget about it. You forget about he's been out. He's just like him coming back and if you go back and you remember those first couple games of the season, like he started off pretty slow, but like you really started to feel like he was starting to catch on to how he could affect the game in the role that they're asking him to play this season. Just sucks too. You see Ayo making a jump, you see Kobe making a jump. You just wonder where Pat would be at this point.
Yeah. And I think he'll get there. I mean, as Chip said last week, we've seen flashes.
Mm-hmm.
We've started to see stretches. We're
Yeah.
just kind of starting to see the stretches, and then once those stretches go from a couple games to a dozen games to a quarter of a season, half a season, full season. I mean, he just needs to get consistent. The dude's 20 and he
Yeah.
has all the talent in the world. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think we've kept everyone long enough. I'm surprised that we went through so many clips in under 2 hours. Actually, I thought we might take longer, but my mouth hurts from talking. To be
Man,
honest, I've been yapping a lot tonight.
I mean,
Sorry,
that's
man.
what the Bulls defense has he's got us doing, man. I mean, it's been tough, man. It's been tough. It's been tough.
And I think it's going to be tough for the next couple months here. At least I think. Oh man, if we can get Pat back in sometime in February, though, that would really help take the sting off a little bit.
It would. It would. You're not
I'm waiting
lying.
for that. I'm waiting for that Woj tweet. Patrick Williams is nearing a return. Yeah, Salim says right after the All-Star break. That would make it. That would make it so. That would make me so happy. So, hope you guys enjoyed the film breakdown. We enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching the game, kind of getting to the nitty gritty, and I love learning from you, Larro. Like I learned more stuff tonight about rotations and when you should do things and when you shouldn't. Answered a couple of my questions that I had. So this is what Bulls 101 is all about. We want to make sure we bring the access of the game to you, to watch film, learn from a coach like Larro. Learn a little bit more about basketball and be able to appreciate it a little bit more and see. It's not just about people watch the game. A lot of people watch the game, but knowing what you're watching is so important, and I think it's an underrated skill. A lot of people watch the game, and as we saw tonight, there were a couple possessions where the casual watcher would be like, "Man, Vooch just got dunked on. What's he doing?"
Mm-hmm.
But you see, I mean, other than that one time that he didn't really have his hands up on that empty side pick and roll, he did his job. He did his job pretty well. So, a lot of things to improve on, but I don't think the Bulls defense is a lost cause. It's just not going to be as good. Like their ceiling on defense is a lot lower than it is with Lonzo and Caruso on the floor. So, yeah, teach me. Slim says, "Teach me." And Dan says, "Learn 3 new phrases today."
What 3 new phrases?
I want to know what these phrases are.
You used to play, Dan, so I don't know what phrase I said that's new, dog. I don't know, man. But yeah, man, I appreciate those kind of words, man. I just love this game as much as y'all do, man. And I'm just the idiot that spends a lot of time watching in the games when I probably should be sleeping, or so I don't know. That's the only difference, honestly. Like,
sacrificing that sleep. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening and watching to Bulls 101. Make sure you rate and review us where you can. Make sure to follow all the other Barroom Network programs if you like any other Chicago sports, or if you just like the Bulls, you make sure you catch Bulls Gold with Salim and Edward. They are really, really good. They always have such great guests. They ask great questions. The music, the production's impeccable, and just wonderful people. So definitely give them a follow, a shout out, and a listen. So thank you guys for listening. Anything else, Larro?
I will say, if Bears fans in here, if you do like Bears coverage, there is a show that Barroom Network has had for a while now, Draft on Tap, and that's with Danny Shimon and Neil Stopchinski. He's probably two of the best guys in football on Twitter. I mean, both these guys have contacts in NFL and college, and they do a really good job of breaking down prospects, with film. And you learn a lot, man. I mean, I'm somebody that loves football, and I learn, different terms and defensive schemes and offensive schemes and what scouts are looking for. So it's like, if you love football and you love Bears, but if you just love football, they do a really good job of breaking down, a lot of prospects. So look out for Draft on Tap as well.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. And Salim's mentioned the science fiction. That's a fun show. If you like sci-fi movies and things like that, definitely check out Salim's show, Science Fiction. So with that's going to do it for us here at the Barroom Network. And we'll see you guys next week. Send us your trade ideas, please. Send it.
Seriously.
Peace.
Peace.